got a new project. We're gonna see what this thing can do. John, the owner at Big Dog RC in Stoneboro, Pennsylvania, gave me one of these to try out and see what I can do with it. Just with some small things like different tires, gear changes, maybe some different shock fluid. I'm not sure if this has a gear diff or a ball diff. We're gonna get into it and see what we can get the lap times down to with this baby. I can't wait, let's get to it. Big Dog RC actually has a class for these. It's called the Short Course Buggy class.
Pink and white, leading the way, running second and up blue and white. I'm gonna take up the running order. Oh, man.
Because that's basically what this is. It's a two-wheel drive buggy with a short course truck body on it. It's basically an RB10 associated buggy, I think. I don't know. I want to get inside this box and see what's going on. 4, 5, 6 guys racing these things up there. They look like they're having a blast.
Maybe short course buggy, a little rough driving going on here. I don't know. Oh, Roberto tied up in a tube.
And I don't think they're really putting too much money into them. And I can hardly see over this box. Let me get this thing opened up. Dang, it's factory sealed. What? It was a wedding gift 20 years ago. We hardly ever use it. Those seals are factory sealed. Those are pretty tough. It is green. Oh man. It's zip tied in. I guess I gotta get the knife back out. Oh, that sounds planted already. Let's see what we got here. Body's sweet. That is actually really sweet. Radio, XP120AE. It's pretty lightweight. I got big meat hooks and it fits me pretty good. Let's see what's in here. Manual comes with the typical 4-way wrench. Looks like a turnbuckle wrench, a couple Allen wrenches. This thing feels nice right out of the box. No kidding. I'm pretty sure this is basically an RB10 AE ready to run rear motor buggy. This is actually called Associated Pro 2 LT10 SW, which stands for short wheelbase. Imagine the LT stands for light truck, I'm assuming. Got some pretty stout bumpers on here. I don't think those are going anywhere anytime soon. Blue anodized aluminum shocks. I don't see any threaded bodies. I must come with spacers maybe. Yep, here the rear has some spacers on here, kind of like a Traxxas Bandit. You just snap them spacers in to adjust your ride height. Some sort of servo saver on there. We'll see how that does. Reed ESC, I'm sure the receiver's in there. Looks like you got 2 battery straps here. You can run a full length or shorty. I'm gonna probably run a shorty in this because they're lighter and I have a bunch of them. But we're gonna go throw this thing on the track right now, see how it does right out of the box. I'm not gonna sauce the tires, grind them, nothing. I'm just gonna throw a battery in there. I'm gonna probably slide the battery all the way forward since the motor's in the rear. That'll put some more weight up front for steering. Let's see how it does right out of the box. And then take some of my prepped up slick tires that I prep up with my beet juice, and they're really broken. They work really good at Big Dog RC. We'll throw a set of them on there right off the bat and see what the lap times come down to. Oh, I hit that first time. That's never gonna happen again. Okay, I got my Shorty Factory Extreme battery installed. I did put a piece of Velcro right about here in the middle to the chassis because I can only really grab it with this Velcro strap. This one's just kind of, I guess it's on the back end there, but just as a precaution, I put some Velcro under there. The ESC comes factory with a Dean's plug on it. Derby brought me an old battery over with a Dean's plug on it. I cut the wires off of it and soldered some bullets on it because I use bullets. So that way we can run this. I didn't have to cut the Dean's plug off of there just to run one of my batteries. I have my Milapse transponder installed, double-sided tape down, and this little buggy is ready to go. Dynamic Vehicle Control, DVC settings. This is something new to me. I just read this, and apparently you can set the receiver, which I guess controls the ESC, to it'll counter steer and stuff for you in different track conditions. I'm not sure I'm ready to mess with that yet. I'm going to set this to number 8 because it says set it to 8 flashes or beeps. That disables the dynamic vehicle control settings, and it's just regular. So, and it acts like a regular ESC. So I'm going to disable that for this first video because I don't want that interfering with my changes I'm going to make on this baby. Once I get this thing totally dialed and working the best it can, then maybe I'll turn this back on and we'll go through that and see if it actually helps or hinders. Let's get to the track. Really having to feather the throttle with the stock tires. The front end wants to push and the rear end wants to come around. So you really gotta, on this surface with the stock tires, you really gotta feather the throttle and learn some throttle control, not feather control. This thing is actually not too bad. The truck itself is good. The tires are horrible. I'm sure they're good for what they're intended for. Messing around in your driveway, your yard, your cul-de-sac, out in a dirt parking lot or something. But for here, you definitely need slick tires. So my best lap time I just got with this was a 32.9 right out of the box. I didn't even set the ride height. I'm going to slap a set. This is a fresher set of Super Soft AKAs on the white wheels. Top off this factory extreme battery, and we're gonna go take her out for round 2. I've had this battery for 4 years, I think. It has no puffing. I don't use it all the time, but this thing is dialed. All right, I'm tired of waiting. So right off the bat, now that I have slick tires on here and they're hooking up way better than the stock ones were, I'm having trouble dialing in the steering because the stock servo is pretty slow, and now with the more traction, it's really messing with my head a little bit. I start dialing in here a little bit once I get used to the delayed steering. But next step is definitely going to be a faster servo. This one's probably fine for what the truck's intended for, but for racing purposes, you definitely want a high-speed servo. First lap out, 28.5. $28.3. $28.0. Yeah. It wasn't until you distracted me, Barry. Check out the self-marshalling moves I've been working on lately. I've really perfected them. Check this out. I think we can scratch that lap. I'm also going to have to read the book and figure out how to adjust the brakes on this ESC. Every time I hit them, they're basically 100% on. I can't drive like that. I normally drive with like 50 to 60% brake. There's some sort of adjustment there. I just haven't figured out how to do it yet. But for the next video, I'll definitely have the brakes working properly.
First impression of that thing.
This thing is sweet. That's John, the owner of Big Dog RC right there. Yeah, first lap. Starting to get used to that delayed steering servo. You got to turn about 4 or 5 feet before you actually normally would with a high-speed servo. So I'm starting to get used to that, but you definitely drive it so much more aggressively with the proper tires on here, and it makes it so much more fun. Can't wait to speed up the steering and just see what I can get this thing to do. I mean, look at the improvement just with putting the proper tires on. Not to mention the white solid AE buggy wheels just look super dialed on this thing. By the way, those are just stock AE two-wheel drive buggy wheels, front and rear. These are off of my B6.3 buggy, but pretty sure they're all the same for even the newest B7. I'm not sure. Nobody has a B7 yet that I know. Just changed the tires, and I'm down to 28 flat. That's right, a salad. This little truck is so much fun, it's making me reevaluate my life. I'm gonna start eating healthy just so I can be around longer to make more videos about this thing. It's that sweet. All joking aside, let's get serious for a minute. This is toy car racing, and there's really nothing more serious than this. This thing has tons of potential. Straight out of the box, what was my lap time? 32.9, I think, was the fastest one I got with the stock tires. They're not good for a packed clay track. It's just like being on ice. You need a set of slicks. These are AKA super soft slicks. I didn't think they were going to do that good because they're really not broken in. They're still kind of firm. The ones I have with the yellow wheels are really loosey-goosey and they work really good there. I didn't have to put them on. Probably should have, just to see. That's a whole nother video, a tire comparison. Firm versus loosey-goosey. You saw how much better it cornered. The front end stopped pushing right away. I had traction when I got on the gas. And definitely recommend slick tires if you're going to be running on a clay track with one of these. Anything really. It's definitely soft. Next video, I'm going to do some more to it. I'm going to change the shock fluid. I'm going to see if fluid's actually in there. I didn't even open them up. Maybe there's hardly any fluid in them. A couple of the shocks kind of seem real soft. Maybe there's nothing in there. More testing and see if we can get that lap time down. I'm going to put a high-speed servo in, one that I already have. I have a couple spares because the steering's definitely slow. Also going to experiment with some different shock oils. These are really soft. I want to see how many whole pistons are in there, see what we can do about the shocks. Try different shock positions. I didn't even look to see where they was at. They're wherever they were when I came out of the box. Just by putting the slick tires on, I dropped my lap time down to 28 flat. I'm sure I could have got it down a little lower. I didn't do too many laps. A family came in there with a bunch of little kids, and they had their Traxxas Bandits flying everywhere, and I was just in their way. So I wanted to peel out of there and let them have their fun. Look for another video coming up real soon on this baby here. The Team Associated Pro 2 LT10 SW short wheelbase. I can't remember that. It's a pretty long name. I got to read it off the door. Stay hydrated.